So they've let us back into the studio, so I guess we might as well do this thing. Welcome in, one and all. It's time for Three Guys Before the Game, the most listened to sports podcast in the state of West Virginia and perhaps the continental United States. Efforting on those final numbers, maybe world. All precincts have not yet reported in. This is episode number 525, Sunk in Stillwater. Three Guys brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. By Go-Mart. Go for good times. Go for Go-Mart. What a wonderful time of the year to get a toasty Go-Mart coffee and a 7-pound bag of pork rinds. I got them for you there. Get those for free if you get enough rewards points. Just bring your card right up to the things. I got rewards card. And okay, you're good. See you later. Talk about their rewards card coming up. Three Guys brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. Well, Jimmy Buffett had the song, It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Jimmy Buffett and who's a country artist with him?
Was it Alan Jackson?
Alan Jackson, I think. Well done.
You guys say I don't like music. I'll just handle it.
Well, my point
so here handling that.
My point to that is, if it's 5 o'clock someplace, somewhere, right, it's pontoon boat season somewhere too. Doesn't matter where you are. It's going to be pontoon boat season somewhere. So you need to get ready.
Darn near was end of last week.
Yeah, I mean, I saw, Lou Wendell Marine Sales selling family fun plus the Three Guys special. We'll get into that. Spreads on Stats coming up. Working overtime. Spreads on Stats. Brought to us by the Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond the numbers. What I mean by that is Senator has the breakdown analytically of West Virginia's game against Oklahoma State and the WVU women's basketball conquest over the Cyclones of Iowa State.
Revenge. Powerful motivation.
Yeah, absolutely. So here we go. Hoppy's over on the other side there. He's here. Good to have you back.
Good to be back. Thank you.
We miss you on Thursdays. I mean, we're forlorn when you're not here. We come in the studio on Thursdays, and he looks at me, I look at him, and it's kind of like, our pet ran away and we don't know where it is or if it's coming back. When you say that,
well, I don't know about that. We do miss him.
That's not how I would view, like a lap dog or something. But
did you have a good week down there at the legislative session?
Yeah,
good one.
Yeah, and
it's fiery this week, wasn't it?
What's that?
A lot going on this week.
Oh yeah. So
controversy.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Good.
Any Three Guys mentions while you're in the rotunda?
What was it? I'm not sure there were. I mean, you get some Three Guys, but you also get what's up with 4625? You get a lot of that thrown at you.
Like, House bill.
Yeah, House Bill 4625. Right? So you get a lot of that.
Plus, you've been down there now a bunch now. The newness is warm off, so it doesn't feel the need to tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's good to have you back. Good to have you back. All right. So we've got a Mountaineer in the Super Bowl. Colton McKivitz will play for the San Francisco 49ers, starting at the right side tackle.
That was a nice comeback there.
Did you know? I was going to post this, but my hands were too breadcrumbed because I was making chicken parm. And maybe I will send that picture to you, Austin. I want to show you my chicken parm I made. Boy, that takes a lot of time. Anyway, did you realize Grannis Bell worked the game?
Heard that.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, he worked the game. He called that... He called the blindside hit on the interception return. He called that. He reported into the referee. Saw him out there. There's Grannis. For those that don't know, Grannis Bell's a member of the 1988 Mountaineer football team and from the state of Florida. And his son is a walk-on here now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that means Grannis is now knocking on the door to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, right there.
He's right there with that guy. So that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
You have to be, are you graded? Do you advance by grade?
Yeah. Yeah. So that means to get a championship game is huge.
Oh, yeah.
That's huge. So he is, he's been after it. He does a great job. He worked college, worked SEC, and then went SEC into the NFL. There's some that say under Johnson, one of the great Mountaineers.
Right.
Had he started officiating earlier, he could have also had that.
He just came
trajectory.
to it late.
Got to it too
Yeah.
late. And then when COVID happened, he just kind of pulled back.
Well, Underwood was officiating?
Oh, yeah. You didn't hear about him officiating?
No.
He officiated college. He D2 college. But the supervisor had to talk to him.
Reason? What now?
Well, when the other team,
Don't do it. Don't
this
do
is
it.
true. He's a line judge. When the other team, this is a true story. He's a line judge.
Yeah.
So when the other team would run like a toss sweep
Yeah.
toward the sideline, his sideline, well, he would take off. He would run faster than the ball carrier. He would be ahead of the play, and they went like, yo, slow it down. You have to see where he's going out of bounds. You can't see where he's going out of bounds if you're in front of him.
He just kicks in.
He kicks in like he's like
a sweep.
Yeah, exactly.
Toss sweep.
He's like Pavlov's dog. He hears the bell. And he's just funny but true. There was a lot of people said that Under could have, but I mean, I don't know how much those guys make in the NFL for officiating, but I think Under. I mean, right? He's all good. he's all good. He's financially, he's all good. He was only doing it for fun. But yeah, he could have. But so anyway, congratulations goes to Granis. All right. So Sunk in Stillwater was the title of this program. West Virginia falls 70-66 to the Cowboys, the only meeting between the two teams this season. And I accepted and was really honored and humbled to get an invitation earlier today to Hoppy's Coffee Klatch that he does on Mondays, his public affairs program. And basically what I said was, I think what everyone thought, it was there for the taking, and you did not dot the I or cross the T. Just didn't execute in the final go-round. They did against Kansas. That's how they won that game. They did not in this one, and you get yourself an L. Is that a
Hop, go ahead.
Well,
You can go first.
These are instances where I like to reference the mythology in Sisyphus, where you push the stone up the hill and it rolls back down. Push it up the hill and it rolls back down. That's what it felt like in this season and in this game, because there were times in this game, and getting Edwards back in there, Brad, we thought, hey, they're playing pretty well. They look pretty good here. You know, good ball movement, making the threes. Slazinski and Kirk Risa making the threes. Where they looked, I thought, like, oh, okay, now it's coming together. And other times, just out of sync, down the stretch, not making shots, ended up getting out rebounded, ending up getting way outshot at the free throw line, out rebounded. And so it was frustrating because, as you said, Tony, it was right there, and you're not going to get many opportunities like that on the road. And this was the one that you could win, and I thought they were going to win. And then if you win it, because everybody beats everybody in the Big 12, you would move up in the Big 12 standings, and you come home for a home set and thought, hey, you get a little something going here.
Right.
So the macro is a huge missed opportunity.
If you had Sisyphus on your three guys bingo card, you can mark it off. Senator, is this the appetizer to
Yeah, I'll give you a
spreads
couple.
on staff?
I'll give you a
Just
couple.
early. You don't need a jingle yet?
No, you don't have to do the jingle yet. I'm with you guys. It felt like normally you look at a game and you go, okay, did somebody screw that up? How did they just play better? How'd you got to the end of that and you went,
How'd that happen?
What? They lost?
Exactly.
Right? So it was one of those, I think you said it perfectly. It was there for the taking. You shot it well again. I think that's the hop to one of your macros. That's 3 straight games where you've shot it well. So you walk out of there with that. Krisa, Slazinski were very good offensively. You told me that on Thursday in our preview, that those two would shoot it like that. I'd say that's a win. Raekwon Battle can't just score 5 for this team. That's one of the lessons we learned there.
Or turn it over 5 times.
He's got to play. There were some weird bad turnovers, some odd shots at times, just those moments where you needed to win. Really, the difference came down to the free throw line, though. Let's look at that for a second. On Thursday, Tony, we said that Oklahoma State does not get there much, and they don't shoot it well when they're there. They're a bottom 50 team nationally in free throw percentage.
Whoops.
But we did add, during Big 12 play, they've been getting to the line a bunch. That's where that had switched a little bit. Well, they had a 50% free throw rate in that game against West Virginia versus just 32% on the season, so they got there a lot more. We also noted they don't put the opponent on the line much. Well, West Virginia just 12 attempts, a 21% free throw rate versus 37% on the year. So those things flipped. Oklahoma State comes out plus 12, and they did the one thing that we often look for. They made more than West Virginia attempted.
Yep.
Ball game right there. There are a lot of other things, but that really was the game right there. As I said, West Virginia shot it well again, double-digit threes, 46 from three-point land. You do that, you like to think you get a win. They did not do well. Remember, I identified two zones that you could take advantage of them.
Right side.
Top of the key threes and the right baseline corridor. Right baseline corridor there, Hoppy.
Mm-hmm.
Mid-range and three, they just didn't do anything from either of those. Top of the key, they were 1 of 5 from three. Right baseline, just 3 attempts, made 1. So 2 zones. And we said that is not a zone that West Virginia attacks very well. And they just didn't come to fruition right there. Teams had been having a lot of success against Oklahoma State at the rim. West Virginia did not, just 8 attempts at the rim. Now, they did have 28 shots within 15 feet of the basket, in addition to making those threes. 28 shots within 15 feet, just 8 of 19 from 10 feet and in. So just didn't close on those in-tight shots again. Also, defensively, a couple quick things. Didn't stop transition at all. Oklahoma State had their most points via transition in Big 12 play. 20% of their points came on fast breaks. They'd been around 12% in Big 12 play. So Oklahoma State did a better job of getting down the floor.
Tony, I think that Kriisa fouling out late hurt because he was just on fire. I mean, and he's a guy that you would have wanted to taken a shot late, and he just wasn't in there because he fouled out.
Mm-hmm. If you took the team names away and just had a blind box score, you'd probably say which of those two teams won. So West Virginia makes more field goals, made 3 more field goals, made 2 more three-point shots, only got beat by 5 boards, had 1 fewer turnover. You go like, that team probably won the game.
Yeah, but 26 free throw attempts. I mean,
that's it. Yeah.
Plus 12 points. That's the game. Yeah. That's why I led with that. That's the whole thing. All this other stuff is just window dressing around it. It's you're minus 12 at the free throw line. You're going to have a tough time winning.
And that's the Kansas game. West Virginia won the Kansas game because they made more free throws than Kansas attempted.
And Tony, what's frustrating is, and obviously you were there, is that that's not a hard place to play. I mean, they got no crowd. They hadn't won a conference game. I mean, there it was. That's about the best opportunity you're going to get this season for a road win.
Yes, when you figure you still have trips to Ames, Manhattan, Fort Worth, Austin, Cincinnati, yeah, that was the one. That was the one that you're going to have your best probability. Not to say you can't win at the other places, but that was your best probability day.
Here's one other category. We talked about unguarded jump shots on Thursday, Tony. Said both of these teams allow unguarded jump shots. Oklahoma State's been making teams pay. West Virginia just doesn't get very many. Could they? That's another one of those categories that if you didn't have the free throw disparity, you would have been thrilled if you're West Virginia. Gave up 11 unguarded jump shots to Oklahoma State, but they only cashed that for 9 points. I mean, that's exactly what you wanted. It was
there for you.
Left them open. They missed their shots. Mm-hmm. You got 12 points out of your unguarded jump shots. So you were plus 3 points in that little niche category there that I thought West Virginia had to win. They did win, but couldn't get over the free throw hump.
One thing that's frustrating for me is the turnovers. Now, you look at the number, and it's only 1 above your season average. You had 12. But still, with that being said, if I go back and look at those 12 turnovers, some of those make you want to say a swear word.
Yeah.
Because just stupid, soft with the ball turnovers drive me crazy. Stupid and soft.
Yeah, they were. And Tony, I don't know what was up with Raekwon Battle. I mean, maybe something's in his head, but I mean, some of those just were, with all due respect, just like, what are you doing? I mean, like you said, soft or just bad passes, bad turnovers on his part. And at inopportune times, it seemed like, and they took advantage, Oklahoma State took advantage of that.
Yeah, he certainly wasn't alone, though. There were some other guys that did that, and you're right, Tony. It wasn't the volume of turnovers or the volume of points that came off turnovers, because they only scored 11 in that situation. But there were some that were just like, what? Why is that a turnover? What are you doing there? Why'd you just jump in the air and just throw it right to what's happening there? So in a game that you only lose by 4, that you're winning with 90 seconds to go, those are the things that make the difference.
Just bad mistakes.
Yeah, just didn't take advantage. It was there. You just didn't go win the game, which you had an opportunity to do.
Three Guys Before the Game is brought to us by Comax Business Systems. They are absolutely wonderful people. They've got their equipment across the state of West Virginia. All 55 counties are involved some way, somehow with Comax. They deal. Been in business now for over a quarter of a century, and they're ready to serve you. If you have business equipment needs, they can take care of you. If you have IT needs, in other words, do you need an inventory of how your network is set up? Are you safe from potential strikes against your network that could get people data that is valuable to you and then could become a major headache for you? Also, when it comes to phone systems, digital phone systems, from one phone line to 1,000 phone lines, the highest level of technology. They're digital phone systems, competitively priced and efficient. If you'd like a price quote, visit comaxwv.com. That's comaxwv.com. If you'd like, while you get that phone, maybe you go get a digital phone system. And as I said, that you can put your phone number from your business right onto your mobile. It'll ring there if you're not in the office. Let's say, for example, you're on a Lou Wendell pontoon, right? Well, it'll ring right there inside the pontoon. Chances are, if you're pontooning, you'll take advantage of the Three Guys special, and that is the unbelievable Avalon 2385 Entertainer. This right here, this is a party boat. Top of the line from Avalon, the top Tritoon model. You name it, what you'd like to do with it, water skiing, tubing, fish off of it, family, friends. Comes fully lit up. Speakers light up, the whole deal, power steering, Honda 150 trailer. Check it out. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com.
You know, one other thought, guys, is that, like we said, Slozinski and Krisa were just on fire. And you've seen 4 other guys on this team have games where they can score a lot of points. But if one other guy has 12, 13, right?
8.
Yeah.
All you needed was 6 or 8. All you needed was a guy to get 6 or 8.
One other guy.
Yeah.
Or a couple less free throws for them.
Yeah.
You're right there. Didn't close.
Later on in textual healing, we have people questioning the officiating. I'll save a comment until later on that.
Okay.
It's going to be what it is. Other than that, thanks to everyone that purchased our special Valentine's popcorn. It no longer is available. We said when Saturday came, finito, done. So that goes away. The master popcorn gourmets put it away in their recipe thing, maybe next year, but that's it.
Until Easter?
No. Until next Valentine's Day. That's saved. You think we should do an Easter popcorn?
I was saying at least July 4th. It is red.
July 4th is good.
It's specific to Valentine's Day.
It's very good.
We'll do a fireworks popcorn, maybe with a little spice in it.
Mm.
Anyway, popcorn will be mailed out early next week, and you'll have it before Valentine's Day. Or, as one of my sons used to say when he was a little toddler, Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Get it for Valentine's Day. So that'll be coming up as well. All right, you ready to do this?
So
Here we
check
go.
the numbers. We'll just go right to the numbers. Here comes the heater. Let's jump into the analytics portion of the show. Ready?
Time now for Spreads on Stats. Brought to us by the Conley CPA Group. Complete public service accounting consultations with their clients, serving West Virginia, surrounding states since 1985. They do provide value beyond the numbers, priding themselves in more than just numbers. More than just, hey, let's put this carries over to 1, 2. No, so much more. They consult with businesses across the state to help you be the most efficient when it comes to paying what you owe, taxes.
And no more.
No more. Oh, you'll pay your fair share. What you owe, but don't pay any more.
Not this time.
Nuh-uh. Conley CPA Group, providing services like audit and assurance, tax planning and preparation, consulting and advisory, and more. I talked to Mike over there at Conley CPA last week.
Yeah. How they doing?
I didn't realize this. Everything's got a season, right? Football season, basketball season, baseball season, right? Heavy season for them. Go into banks and do audits now.
Right now, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, so he'll go into a bank, and they'll do a whole bank audit. They stay in there for a week.
I was going to say, that's a big job.
Well, I tell you what, I'd do really well at that, wouldn't I?
Yeah, he'd be good and focused for a week in one spot.
Yeah, that would do me really, really well. I'd go in there. Yeah. I said, you spend a whole week in there. He goes, oh, yeah, spend the whole week. Last week he was in Randolph County. Before that, he was down in Boone County doing these bank
Travels
audits.
all over.
Travels all over the place. That's what they are. They're statewide plus. Conley CPA Group. I sense.
That was a good term, statewide plus.
Yeah, that's the surround. We're in a state that is surrounded by other states.
The five contiguous states.
Yeah, we're not like Hawaii. They're out there by themselves. They got nothing touching them. Good to see Hawaii.
No, we are not like Hawaii. That is accurate, sir.
Hey, we don't talk before we start the program, as you probably can tell.
We talk, but
we
usually
talk
not about show prep.
Our conversation before the show normally goes like this: You ready? You good? You ready? You good? Okay, let's go. But I sensed, and you can concur with me or not, Hop.
Yes.
That the junior over here, like he loves his spreads on stats numbers. Did you get that feeling?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He just kept saying, I got it.
Everything that even got mentioned, he said, just wait.
Yeah,
Just wait.
Hey, what about the women's? I got it. Did you go to the women's game?
I did. Let's start there.
Nice crowd. Oh, we're starting women's.
We're going to start there. It was impressive. Talk
Nice
about
win.
closing down the stretch.
Well, as I said, I wanted that game. I wanted the Iowa State game bad because I spent 2 hours watching the first game when they blew the 19-point lead. I wanted revenge.
I'm not sure you were the only one there.
JJ Quinterly have a good game, Brad?
She wanted revenge. Quinterly's really good, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have a player that can make shots and is at times unguardable, does that make you pretty good?
Outside shots, create, rebounds.
Take it to the basket,
I mean,
pull
what do
up,
you want?
floaters.
Yeah.
Career high 31. Hello.
You think she's having fun?
Yeah. Great system for her. By the way, she also had 6 rebounds, 5 steals, 3 assists.
That's a dance card right
31, 6, 5, and 3.
Thank you.
For JJ Quinterly. Very good.
She should
And
be
what
the player
was her
of the
third
week.
quarter number? Her third quarter numbers were sick, right? I mean, she had I thought she had a big third quarter. Is that right?
Okay, go ahead.
I saw a highlight where she gets a partial screen. Girl didn't come over the screen.
Yeah.
She's late.
Yeah.
So here, I'm going to take care of this. Put this in your eye.
She was good. The team was really good from 3. Shot 48%, which ultimately is the win. But a couple things. Remember we talked after their last game, Iowa State did a great job of shutting that lane and the paint off.
Yeah.
West Virginia had a 62% attempt rate at Iowa State from 3. So 62% of West Virginia's shots were 3s. Talked to Mark on Friday on Sportsline. He said, yeah, that's a tad high for us. They got it back down into the range where they're more comfortable, 42% three-point rate. So now you're balanced, Hop. You're hitting 3s, but you're also Quinterly taking it in on them. Iowa State still did a good job of protecting that lane for the most part. 4 players on West Virginia's team with 3 steals or more.
Oh.
How about that for a swarming defense?
That's a big number.
26-12 points off turnover advantage. So that was big. But here's the one. This jumped. Iowa State made more free throws than West Virginia attempted and lost.
Whoa.
Doesn't happen often.
Aberration.
Does not
alert.
happen often. +8 at the line for Iowa State, and they lost that game. Here was the moment, though, that really jumped out to me. And Hop, this is what you were asking about in pregame. West Virginia was having trouble with Iowa State's big, Audi Crooks.
Audi Crooks, yeah.
Very good.
She's a freshman.
25-16, boys. 25-16. And even more impressive than the numbers, she just was unguardable at times. If she would set up down deep in the paint, just forget about it. You had no shot when she would get in there or catch it
She's
mid-paint.
really skilled. Is she really skilled?
Great,
Finesse player?
Good hands, tremendous size, and just backed you straight down in.
What'd they do? They double team front, back?
They were trying. They would try and front her, and she'd get around. They would try and send somebody down to dig. That's where a lot of the fouls came in because you're trying to swipe down on her, and you're fouling her. I mean, she was excellent. But it was a great move by Mark Kellogg, and then great execution by Danelle. I hope I say this right.
It's hard to say.
Arigbabu.
Yeah.
Right? Am I close?
It's hard to say,
Always
yeah.
just say Danelle when she's in. So she came in, played just 12 minutes. but gave you 5 points, 4 rebounds, which was great in 12 minutes. But her ability to lean on Crooks and match size for size, I thought it changed the game late. So out of that 5 position, you talk about some dual effort there. Kylie Blackston early scoring points, had 14 points for you, scoring out of the 5. And then late, you go to Danelle, who leans on Crooks and made it really difficult for her to score down the stretch. I thought it was a great substitution move and then great execution. Danelle played her behind off in that matchup.
How many minutes did Crooks play? You have that in front of you?
Yeah.
Because she can't go for like long. Like she's not 30-minute game.
She played a lot.
You think she was over 30?
They would give her blows. She'd come out and then come right back in. I'll tell you, I'll get it up right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a handful. Remember, she was a handful up in Ames. Yeah, 31 minutes.
Wow.
When she plays, yeah. They just spot rest her. They couldn't take her out. She was carrying the load. They only had one other player in double figures. She was really good. But a lot of credit to Danelle for coming in and playing some serious defense. A season low in transition points for West Virginia, just 5 of them. So they were really having to make hay in the half court. Near season high on points from jump shots, and how about this? They crushed Iowa State on unguarded jump shots. 24 points, which was a season high in Big 12 play, 3rd most for them all season on unguarded jump shots. So when they left West Virginia shooters open, made them pay. 62% of their shots, catch and shoots, are unguarded, which here's an amazing figure. West Virginia, 62% of their catch and shoots on the year are unguarded. 62%.
Stunning.
That's 60th nationally and 6th in the Big 12.
Wow.
That should be like leading the country. But West Virginia made them pay for that. Also, shout out Jordan Harrison, 6 assists, no turnovers. So you talk about a backcourt of JJ and Jordan, 43 points, 7 made threes, 8 steals, 9 assists, only 2 turnovers and 6 rebounds from your backcourt.
Take that.
Hello.
That's a big win for a bunch of different reasons, but for Mark Kellogg, because the opposing coach over there for Iowa State, like he's a legendary
Bill
dude.
Fenley.
Yeah.
600 plus wins.
600 plus wins. So that's a good win.
It was a great win.
You think Fenley gets a little bit bummed out? New guy comes into the league, Kellogg, jumps out to 17-2.
Probably.
Right?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, it's like anything. It's like neighbors. I mean, these new coaches come into conferences. You're supposed to pay your comeuppance.
Didn't say nice to be here. Just came right in.
He just came right in and said, "Hey, we're 17-2. See you."
They were really good.
And Brad, you were there. You and your daughter, one of your daughters, and a good crowd.
Good crowd. Really good crowd. Into it, loud.
Yeah.
Made a difference down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good.
They bring out that big T-shirt gun.
Did not.
Didn't bring it out.
Did not. Didn't even bring out the slingshots. Just threw them.
Straight.
Just arm.
They went
Old school. Just threw it.
They went analog.
They did go analog. Yeah.
Probably a liability issue.
Yeah. It was
What
good.
you
Good
think
game.
that
Fun game.
is that cannon has to go in for like service or something like that?
Yeah, maybe.
Can you check on that? See, like, where's the cannon?
No, don't check on it.
Like, did they bring it over to that baseball banquet? Use it for there or something?
I don't know if the ceiling was high enough there.
By the way, I saw the baseball team practicing yesterday in a downpour.
Why wouldn't they?
They're practicing.
Less than a month away.
Yeah, it is close.
Less than a month away.
It is close.
Saw Alec Manoah was at the baseball leadoff banquet.
Heard that. John Means as well, from what I'm
Oh,
told.
John was there too. Awesome.
So both Major League Baseball All-Stars back in attendance.
That's great. That's great.
There's
Good
my
deal.
Iowa State wrap-up. Really, seriously, really impressive win, especially given the free throw disparity. There were some calls maybe that I would have
Excuse me?
questioned during that game.
What kind of calls?
Well, just some calls.
Example.
Well, I'll just leave
Didn't
it
get the
there.
home whistle? Is that what you're
Well,
saying?
no, no one did. No, they shot more than you shot. They made more than you shot.
How many shots? How many free throws did Crooks get? I would imagine she probably went to
Well,
line.
but they're pounding her, so you're sending her to the line.
Right.
Some other misses. She didn't have that many. 11. 9 of 11. She shot it well.
That's a lot of free
Told you
throws.
she's got a nice touch. 9 of 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there you go. Good win.
Deal. All right. Let's transition. Let's do the quick hit here. Hang on a second, please. Thank you. We now move to the Oklahoma State, West Virginia. Oh, we already did that.
Yeah.
Never mind.
You know, preview the Bearcats.
That's what it was.
Tony, that's your next game.
Boy, I tell you
The
what.
rundown sheet in front of him. He forgot to look
Hope
down
you
at
can,
it.
Hope you can make it there. Don't you remember?
The
in our
C block. We're going Cincinnati preview.
Brad just said we have a rundown sheet. We don't have a rundown sheet. I apologize.
Cincinnati preview. Big week, back at home.
These guys scare me. I haven't done an ounce of preparation yet. I'll do it tonight.
Yeah.
But I've just seen them.
Yeah.
And here's my you want to know my computer analysis?
Yeah.
They will tell you what flavor gum you're chewing. They will hit you physically and knock the hell out of you.
Yeah.
And they're long.
Yeah.
And they don't care if they're home or away, they're going to grind you.
2 7-footers. They got size. So stop me if you've heard this before. Another elite defensive team comes in to the Coliseum. 17th overall in defensive efficiency. They're an elite rebounding team, to your point that they get after it. 14th offensive rebounding. Let's see if that's gone up at all. Yep, it's gone up. 11th offensive rebounding. 5th defensive rebounding. 20% of their points come on second chance points. So, 2 things. Now, we always go, what do we say when you play a team that's really good defensive rebounding? Where are your points coming from? If you can't get in and get offensive rebounds, you better get to the free throw line and you better make shots. Mm-hmm. So those are 2 areas that you're going to have to do. So their offense, as I just mentioned, 20% of their points come off second chances, but nearly 50% of their points come in the paint. Can you close the paint off? Because if you can't, then you've got some problems.
Well, that's similar to Kansas when they said you're not going to score in the lane. And they said, okay, if you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us from outside perimeter, but we're packing it inside. And you'd hope with Jesse Edwards' presence in there for a bit at least. What did he play? He played 15, 16 minutes, so hopefully he's into the 20s here. In this game, you hope his presence will be a difference maker.
Part of the reason they get so many points in the paint, again, they have great size. But how about this for guards going to the basket? You ready for this? Put this on your notes for the game Wednesday, Tony. John Newman's a 6'5" guard. 44% of his shots are at the rim, and he's effective when he gets there. Skilling, a 6'6" guard, he goes to the rim. 44% of his shots. Day Thomas, 6-foot guard. 31% of his shots at the rim. So they get guys, they're going to put pressure on you in the lane. You better find a way to shut that off. They haven't shot it particularly well from 3. There's only 1 zone out of 5 around the 3-point arc where they shoot it better than 29%. That's the right corner. Now, they've only taken 12 shots from there. So they want to get to the basket. They want to get in the paint. They want to hit the offensive glass. This is a game you've got to find a way to shut off the inside. Have to handle their pick and roll as well. They're very good, and this wouldn't surprise you. What do you think pick and roll, their best thing is? The roll man. So you've got to pay attention for that. But the ball handler will score if you don't pay attention. They'll like to post up. They killed Texas with the post up. The rest of Big 12 has handled them in there. They got 19 points posting up against Texas, 14 points in their 5 other Big 12 games prior to this weekend.
Texas stole the game there, right at the end.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
So this is one of those, you don't have to go too far down the list. You've got to control the lane somehow. So can Jesse Edwards, as you just mentioned, give you more minutes? Can he be a factor in there? Can he help you on the glass? And now can you continue for the 4th straight game? Can you make some shots from the outside?
Mm-hmm.
Quick and dirty scouting report. There you go.
Tough. I was looking at the standings in the Big 12 yesterday. Whew. I mean, it is just this.
Yeah.
It's a everything is just mired up. It's just like sticky glue. Everyone's got losses, and there's just nothing there.
That's why if West Virginia had won Saturday, they could have moved up to like 7th or something, tied for 7th. So
the lowest remaining Ken Palm rated teams on your schedule. I know we do this a lot, but it continues to amaze me each time I go to look at a game. Oklahoma State at 118, which just beat you. UCF at 72. Beat you. Kansas State at 65. Other than that, you're talking top 30 teams. And you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 top 28 teams.
Every single game's an NCAA tournament game.
Everyone. Yeah. That's a good way to say it.
Every team you play is going to be in the NCAA
Did you see, well, you wouldn't have, Tony, but TCU and Baylor, it just went to double or triple overtime. I mean, just a battle. And TCU was a great win for them, by the way, at Baylor. But, boy.
I got an off-the-court issue there with Baylor. Might be too hard to fix.
What's that?
Brand new arena. I got to fix that camera.
I told you that the other day. It's unbelievable. How does that happen?
Money.
Still.
What are you talking about?
Brand new arena, and the camera angle is you're looking on top of any early male pattern baldness. You're seeing it.
Yeah,
You're
it's a
seeing
bad
it
angle.
It's the old Oklahoma
Yes,
State
it
angle.
is.
Which, when you were a kid, if you used to watch Oklahoma State back like in the 70s and the 80s, you had to take a Dramamine before you watched the game. Otherwise, you get motion
Heck,
sickness.
it went later than that. It went up. West Virginia was in the league, and it still looked like that.
Yeah.
Until they did that last edition.
So I'm imploring the officials at Baylor University, would you please just swallow your pride, get rid of the seats where the camera is supposed to be, and put the camera platform where it belongs. Here's why. Sure, you lose a little money in that seating. Okay, fine. But guess what? Your brand, you'll have more people watching your games than will ever attend your games in your building's history. So don't have a brand that is verbally communicating to people that you're a dizzy school. That's what I'm staying with.
it's
brand,
a tough angle.
Your brand is you need to be straight shooters. That's what you need to be. It's a level-minded school, not a school that looks down on people. That's my angle. That's what I would go to the folks with today. Listen, do you want to be a school that looks like you're howdy-towdy, that you look down on people? You don't want that. You want to be a perception of we're straight ahead thinkers. That's what you want. Can't watch your games. Can't watch your games. Can't do it.
Although that was a good one against TCU.
It was.
Yeah. Grinded it out, man. Double overtime. How about Iowa State taking Kansas? Kansas has now lost at West Virginia, at UCF, and at Iowa State.
Hey, well, of course, the TCU game was even more impressive because it was at Baylor. But, I mean, on the road in this league, tough.
Mm-hmm.
That's why now you're home. You got to make it uncomfortable, Brad, for teams coming in here.
Yeah,
You
same
do.
holds true, right?
Yeah, you do.
Same holds true for the other people.
Since this Cincinnati game's won, though, you're going to, Tony, we said it against UCF, you're going to have a little fight in you. You know, you're going to have to stand up and be tough in this one. Otherwise, I think they run you out.
Really?
Yeah, they're going to bang you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're going to bang you.
It's going to be a fist fight. If you don't come to fight from the opening tip, you will get embarrassed. I'm just telling you, these are dudes. Compliments to their staff, compliments to their program. Coach West over there, he got it. Got tough guys.
Okay.
You have to be tough to win in this league. You have to physically be tough. And that goes back to what we'll talk about here a little bit in the officiating. You have to be tough. And that's what it is. Spreads on Stats brought to us by the Conley CPA Group, providing complete public accounting service and consultation serving clients throughout the state, surrounding states plus, since 1985. Let's get you healed up. Welcome in, everyone. Time now for textual healing. That number, in case you don't have it, is 304-404-4083.
Call now.
Call now. 304-404-4083. We're available 24/7, 365 days.
And we'll throw in the vegetable
on
chopper.
Operators standing by. Ron Popeil with the Popeil Pocket Fisherman.
Popeil Pocket Fisherman.
All right, episode 800 is our sponsor. Go to episode800.com. Get all of our merchandise available to you. Hoppy's the only guy wearing today of what it is that we sell. Senator went old school with the state pride logo.
It's all about pride.
And I went with the Peter Millar vest. Little warm, little warm today. Available there at Fine Looking Phil's. Texter.
I bet you were warm Saturday.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I have I could not look away from your broadcast location where you looked like you were in coach on a budget airways. Okay, you were tight. That was a tight seating arrangement there at the scores table for your broadcast location.
It is fair to say that Oklahoma State has the absolute tightest broadcast location in the league.
You were jammed in there.
You are jammed in there.
And you need, Tony, in fairness, and you don't ask for a lot, but you need a little space because you get one of these, you kind of like established your personal space, but you were like this.
It's tight. It's tight. It's tight. Had some good students behind us. They were Oklahoma State fans. They were great. put a big, we have a big Pelican black case that we carry our gear in, and our engineer just put it right behind him. I leaned back during the game. Those old boys, they were getting pizza. So they just had 2 plates of pizza, had their drinks up on our plastic case. I said, we're good, fellas. It's all good. It's all good. They were good. Didn't say peep the whole game. Texter, LMAO, at today's episode of 524. That was our last episode. Thinking about you guys usually has me rolling. Given Tony's penchant for spontaneous ideas on the show, I wonder what the over-under for text to the next 3 shows will be now that Tony has asked. You ever notice that people never go 3 or 4 craps? My over-under was 2. No, craps. Was 2.5. Still laughing. Buckwheat in Chicago, originally from Morgantown. No, because a texter wrote in and said, I don't give 2 craps what the administrator at Oklahoma said about playing country roads. And I said to Brad, why do they always say 2? Why don't they ever go like 3 or 4? And he said 2 probably gets it done.
Yeah, probably.
Texter, share the ball. Exactly. What does that mean? Break it down for we civilians. It should mean with the objective of getting open shots. It appears that it's being done on the perimeter without any success. Not sure what this outside passing is supposed to accomplish. If sharing includes the other team, it's working. The bottom line is that this team doesn't have enough of the athleticism or talent needed to play a consistent game every outing. The ability to drive the ball and also have multiple three-point shooters is not replaceable with effort or other means. No coach can overcome this deficiency. Not sure what miracle worker coach is out there. And how would they have fared this year under the circumstances present? Any reasonable person could answer that. Where we are going to be as far as winning games this year. Haven't heard any mention of recruiting for next year. If not a breakthrough, huge success in this area, things are not looking up for the future. That comes out of Cambridge, Ohio, and that was signed by John Capobianco. That's a heck of an Italian name. So I had to look that one up. So I should know what that means. That is the Italian version of Whitehead. The American last name Whitehead.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what Capo, head, Bianco, white.
Oh,
Whitehead.
okay.
To your original point, John, share the ball. Yeah, that's become, share the ball has become a new phrase in basketball. Basically, short term of that is pass the hell out of it.
Yeah, it's ball. It's just shorthand for ball movement, right? I thought at times, and I defer to you guys on this, but I thought at times the ball movement Saturday was pretty good. They got a couple of those guys got open shots. Brad, what did you think?
West Virginia's just a tick above the national average when it comes to assist rate, so getting better, getting there.
I thought it moved around a little bit, well, at times Saturday. Texter, I too have wondered about the names on the back of the jerseys of Kerr and a Cook. When this was being discussed on your last episode, I went to the WV roster and saw that a Cook's parents are named Angelina and Rayak. Perhaps the names on a Cook's jersey is a salute to his parents. Go Mountaineers. Signed by John S. Marshall, St. Clairsville, Ohio. P.S. Some of your listeners may not be aware that current ESPN football analyst Joey Galloway is from Blair, Ohio. Yeah. I think you're right. So I think that's probably right about a Cook. And we've talked about Carissa having Kerr on the back of his jersey in honor of former NBA great Steve Kerr. So that's why he does that. I personally think it opens up a problem, long range, because as soon as that starts to become a thing, then who the hell knows what you're going to put on the back of your jersey. So probably at some point need to go like, you get your last name on your jersey.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
That's what it should be.
Unless there's a kid that wants to put episode800.com on the back of his jersey, then we'd be fully supportive of that. Texter, I'm 66, so take this with a grain of salt. I do think the younger generation likes some of the older music. I think it's due to movies. For example, Guardians of the Galaxy features prominently a 70s soundtrack.
Great flick.
Going back a bit, who can forget the Marvin Gaye, Tammy Terrell version of Ain't No Mountain High Enough? And remember the Titan shower scene. How about Great Balls of Fire from the recent Top Gun movie? Lastly, how about Shrek's I'm a Believer? Just a thought. Thanks for the show. Tony, I'm also new to focaccia baking. My attempt. Pretty good.
Oh.
Very nice. Very well done. Yeah, it looks like does he have some rosemary wedged in there? Pretty good. Keep it going. It's like anything else. It's a repetition game. Texter, long-time listener. I'm first-time texting. I was listening to your last episode, walking through the Augusta Riverwalk in 77-degree temperatures. I heard the reference to the fast-approaching pontoon boat season. I wanted to share this picture with you.
Oh, my.
Greatly enjoy the show. Thanks for the West Virginia insights, stats, and laughs. So there it is, folks. Like I said, it's pontoon boat season somewhere.
Hurry up. Get down there. Lou Wendell, Marine Sales.
That could be you in the Lou Wendell Tri-Toon Avalon that's currently on special sale.
They have the awning up on that one we just saw?
Could you run that back again, Austin?
Probably didn't need it there, Hoppy, because the sun was
awning's
back.
It's back.
It's in the little zip-up.
Where is that?
Augusta Riverwalk.
Like Georgia?
Sure. Texter, I'm a late Gen X guy, and I love rock and roll. Hop, what happened was on the last episode, to bring you back up to speed here, I said that younger kids know 70s and 80s music more than you would think.
Okay.
That was my premise.
Okay.
Anyway, this person says...
I said no.
He said no. He said, growing up in Evansville, Indiana, we made many trips down I-64 back to my dad's hometown of Beckley. One trip on NYD 1995 required my dad and I to go all the way from Mount Vernon, Indiana to Prosperity, West Virginia, and back the same day.
Oh, my.
When one classic rock station signal would get weak, you could generally count on another to be available. And after 15 hours of driving that day, we heard Carry On My Wayward Son no more than 14 times.
Kansas.
Since then, a long interstate trip with a return the same day is simply known as the Carry Me Wayward Son in our house. While we don't do nearly as many trips like that as we used to, I still think of driving up and down 64 to find the next classic rock station when I hear the song, signed by Clay in Morgantown, formerly Lexington, Kentucky. Yeah, it happens, man. Those were the old days when you had your station would get weak, and you'd find the next station.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't happen like that anymore because
if you have satellite, I mean, you can still have
you never lose your signal.
Terrestrial radio,
right? Or you stream like things like podcasts while you're driving. You never leave it, never lose it.
Yeah, we're pro radio here.
Well, this is the new radio. Guys like you are still screaming out in front of buildings saying, "Buy the newspaper." Did you help him, Brad? He's trying to transition. It's still audio, Hoppy. They're just delivering it differently.
I understand, but we are largely a terrestrial radio company.
Oh, yeah, we're still strongly supportive of it. Sure.
Right. Thank you.
But there are other ways to eat.
I understand that.
Sometimes we wonder if you do. Since we were on for 4 years and you didn't realize this wasn't live. Mike and
what?
Mike and Myrtle, TC, Senator, and absentee ballot. I like the thought of the Eilert effect shirt, but maybe it's a bit early. However, there is one shirt we have overlooked. What's the BMI? Hey, if you know, you know, and we're going to know. Saturday. Mike and Myrtle. Trey's guys. It's Saturday, 27 January, and I'm still not seeing the flying WV on our basketball coach's attire. Are they repping Western Vermont University? Last I checked, the beloved, venerable flying WV is still our brand logo. It's sort of like me addressing you as Trey guys instead of three guys. Marketing police have been notified. Lindbergh from Lucado. Longtime loyal listener, defender of the brand. Pre-S, it's Luckadoo.
I missed that too.
Well, there's this place in West Virginia, Lucado.
Oh.
And he says that the West Virginia people down there pronounce it Luckadoo.
All right.
And I said that looks more like Lucado to me. So I'm not getting any of these regional things.
You can't win.
So is that Skip, right? Brad?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's Skip, probably.
Okay.
So the deal on the what coaches are wearing, there is a page of approved logos that West Virginia can use on its uniforms, and that is one. And you're probably going to see what they're wearing going forward next year because Nike has heavy say in what they create.
Oh.
And so that's going to become a look. And if you're looking for the flying WV, it's all over the basketball uniforms. Texter, in-game, hello. Hey, fellas, quick question. Any way we can get fine-looking Phil to help the coaching staff out with some swag that has the flying WV? How about this? Really don't care for the current look. Looks like something from middle school league. Jeff in Columbus. So apparently the fashion was out there for Saturday. Personally, I don't care if they wore a burlap bag with no logo. How about Win?
Yeah.
I like Win. Win and burlap. New T-shirt.
Everything looks better when you win.
Yeah. Larry from Hurricane. Am I the only one thinking there's a conditioning problem? A player gives 7 minutes and he's gassed? That's not WVU ball. Am I wrong or what? I'll listen to your response. To be quite honest, I think that this team, because of the circumstances that surrounded it in the offseason and the late roster acquisitions, did never have, well, that doesn't sound right, has never had the opportunity, did not go through the normal conditioning. This team never went through regular off-season conditioning because the pieces of the puzzle weren't there. So maybe there is something to what you're saying. But again, the unintended consequence of what you're dealing with this season are these types of things. Plain and simple. There's a reason you have off-season conditioning because it just builds. And that's what you build. And you didn't have that.
And at this point in the season,
you're not getting
you're looking for rest.
Yeah. In-game text. The ESPN Plus app is about as bad as WVU's ball screen defense today, signed by Martin in Martinsburg. Well, I can't help you with ESPN Plus. As Hoppy properly stated, we're in radio.
It's I just think it's like it's always fun just to see where the camera's going to go.
Like this?
Yeah,
When
yes.
it just kind of moves around?
We're in transition, folks.
Yes. Here's the deal, man. Everything has gotten worse than it used to be. How about that for a generalized statement?
I don't know about that.
No, it has.
No.
There are a lot. Let me rephrase that. Let me put some form of context into it. There are so many things in our everyday life that have decreased in their level of efficiency for whatever reason. And that's one of them, too. I mean, for example, the producer, the director of the broadcast on Saturday, they weren't even there. They weren't even
really?
They're not there. They do it remotely. So obviously it's not going to be as good. Everything quality-wise has gone.
Well,
and I know your
quantity has gone up.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you can see look, Tony, the upside is in our lifetime, you want to see the game, and I know you're a radio guy, I'm a radio guy, but in our lifetime, I've been around long enough to know, like, oh my gosh, the game's on television, to every game's on television, okay? Mm-hmm. And as Brad, as these networks who are paying a boatload of money try to move people to streaming, that's what it's going to be. More games, maybe less quality.
Yeah, it is. It's less quality.
Yeah, yes, all true. I do think the league has some responsibility here, though, that if you're going to push to a certain platform, you've got to ensure that the schools are putting the resources in to make the platform what it should be.
Fair.
And we're paying extra dollars for that. I will say that.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, I'm grateful for all of the content that's provided. That is better than it was years ago. But you've got to get to some level of standard that everybody takes it as seriously as a network broadcast. Mm-hmm. That'd be my comment there.
But you know this, Brad, that game Saturday had nothing to do with the schools. That's an ESPN broadcast.
Yeah, so I'm including everybody in that. There are some schools that you will watch, and they are not up to par.
No question.
They are not up to par.
You know why? Because the leagues, ESPN is, well, how do you say this? Here's one way to say it. The schools are not making any extra money based upon the level of subscribers. Make sense?
So they have no interest.
They got no interest in making it look great because their dollar amount stays the same. They're not getting a percentage of ESPN Plus subscriber money. ESPN gets that money. So there is no impetus for a school to demand, no, it's got to be this. And we're talking about the non-basketball, non-football broadcast. There's no reason for them to do it. There's a minimum level of requirement that they have to fulfill, and then that's it. Mm-hmm. But they're not making money or losing money either way. So why put our resources there if we're not going to make any extra money?
Get it up to speed.
Texter. Hey guys, West Virginia's decision-making in the final 90 seconds of the loss was the poorest I've seen in quite some time. Wait. Amy Bonner just called another foul on the Mountaineers. Thanks. Texter. Will referees ever be held accountable? Coaches can't comment. Journalists can't talk to them. Clearly the conference doesn't care. I know every team thinks they get robbed. 13 more free throw attempts for OSU in the second half was the difference. Even ref apologist Tony noted the uncalled foul late when OSU hacked a Cook. The when matters, and that 13-shot differential in the second half did matter. So why are refs untouchable? Evan in Iowa.
Tony, go.
Well, it's not that they're untouchable, but they're pretty good, close to being untouchable to a degree. So here's a blanket statement. What you wrote could be written by a Kansas fan a couple of Saturdays ago when West Virginia beat them. Same differential, same, okay? So it's going to happen. It's not a matter of if it happens. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Get used to it. It's always going to happen, okay? That's one. Two, you have to play through that and just go into every game with the mindset, regardless of what the officiating is, we're just going to have to play through it. Do they screw up? Yeah. You should have seen the end of the Tulsa game the other night. Tulsa's playing someone. I just happened to be going through scores. And I see the game super close with like 20 seconds to go. So I go like, I'm watching this. So I go to ESPN. There's 0.3 seconds left. 0.3 seconds. The team with possession is down by like 1. So that's almost the only thing you can do is you can't catch it. You basically just have to, okay? So they run this awesome play from the sideline. Guy puts it up over the rim. Guy back screens, comes in, catches the ball, puts it up, clearly in time. Shot's no good. But the guy who shoots it gets absolutely like UFC. Just destroyed him over the arm. Guy just rips him down to the ground. Guy falls back. No fouls called. No fouls called. They go to the replay monitor. Well, they didn't call the foul originally. So despite the fact that the guy just suffered malicious wounding, they can't change the call, and they wave it off. My point to all that is this. It's basketball, man. It happens every year. We sit here every year and talk about it.
You just have to play through it.
You got to.
You really do.
It's not changing. It's not going to change. Get through it.
I saw it, Tony. I saw a game exactly like that where it was a 0.6 seconds. I forget what it was. It might have been Clemson, somebody, and they threw the ball the length of the court, Brad, and there was a
Joe. It was Joe. The kid that transferred from Syracuse to Clemson. What's his name? Joe Gior, Joe, whatever his name is. He lost his mind. He went after the official.
And the defender took him out. It was a good block. It was a good blindside block on the guy. Like, game's over. Run off. Just what do you do?
Couple things on this, both sides. Number one, it would be great if you could get some younger people and more people into the profession, which I did it for a couple of years, said I'm not doing it. I'm out. Not dealing with fans, out. And that was as a low level as you could get. But you need some more officials. These people are doing too many games at a point in their lives where they probably shouldn't be doing that many games. Number one. Number two, I do think sometimes you have to have the officiating conversation, and it's not just whining. It does affect games.
Yes.
We have conversations about coaches and people call for their jobs. We have conversations about players when they screw up by name and they're criticized. That's part of the game. So play through it? Yeah, you need to. But sometimes they do screw you. And sometimes the style in which they have decided to call the game makes a difference. And sometimes that switches. Then you have things pop up like Jerome Tang over the weekend. Did you see this story?
Mm-hmm.
Talking about one of the officials saying things to his players and then immediately calling 2 fouls on the player. Now, I don't know if Tang's right, if the official's right. If that happens, if that actually happened, that's a problem. Someone better look into that. Because if you have individuals that are taking over games like that, then that should be able to be discussed without getting fined. It's a major part of the game, and it's a super hard job. It is a really hard job, and I want no part of doing it. But it's part of the conversation if we're going to discuss everything else, in my opinion.
I think that's well said. And after a game when there's a controversial call, sometimes you can talk to the official, right? Is that right? Can you ever talk to the official?
I mean, technically, maybe you can. I don't know what the policy is on the league, if there's a pool or not, but normally, no.
So
probably in conference tournament play, there's probably a pool reporter that can talk, but I don't think on a regular basis. I don't know if they can or not.
A lot of times, it's not about a one call at the end of the game that we focus on. It's more style, and it's more style changing, and it's more you called it one way here, then a different way. It's at times it does appear there's agendas and they don't like somebody and they're making. That's the stuff that I think is fair game. If you see that, I think that should be allowed to be discussed without a league fining people and without fans going bananas and saying you're whining. It's a legitimate part of the conversation when we go through everything. Hoppy, I'm giving you specific, exact, in-the-weed numbers on how many shots you took from a certain spot of the floor. Certainly we can discuss refereeing style and officiating style and what it meant to that particular game without everybody losing their mind. There can be a logical discussion about that because it matters, and it's mattered over the different coaches at West Virginia. Just take West Virginia. When John Beilein was coaching, did we talk pregame about what you needed from the officials in terms of style? Yeah, didn't you? You said, hey, you want an official, it's going to call it. Yep. You go through the lane and get a forearm shiver, hopefully that official calls it. When Bob Huggins was the coach and you were playing Press Virginia, what'd you say? Oh, those guys swallow that whistle. Just go beat on them. Don't look the other way. So style matters, and it comes into play, and it determines winners and losers. It should be part of the conversation, in my opinion.
I don't disagree. I think the money involved in these games all the way around needs to also open up a higher level of accountability for officials. I do. I strongly believe that. But for this moment and this day, you better get ready to play through it because it's going to happen. Both sides.
But the game is so physical now that the advantage disadvantage is such a big deal.
So what Brad's saying is we need a level of consistency because it just varies. That's the unnerving part.
Well, how often do you do a game? Because you know all these officials now, and you sit down and you see the officials on and go, oh, I see how this is going to.
Oh no, exactly. When I see the three names, inside my nonverbal goes like, we're good. This guy is bad. We're going to get screwed. And invariably, it happens.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I saw one. We had a home game recently. I saw him. He hardly ever does our game. I said, this will be a problem. And here he comes out. Captain of the safety patrol from the moment the game started. He wanted to be the big guy, wanted to be the big thing. Just horse's ass. Always is. Always has been. The scary thing is, a lot of times, the guys that are the biggest horses' butts are the guys that advance. And you just look at yourself and go, how? Why?
Well, then to your point and to Brad's point, if you can see that and you can identify that and then anecdotally that is backed up by what you see, then to Brad's point, then there should be accountability.
Yeah.
Other than just somebody complains to the league office and you never hear about it again.
You get guys blown up. If you get enough coaches in your league, okay? If you get enough coaches in your league that go to the supervisors and go, we don't want him in our league anymore. Got it? We don't want him. See, they're independent contractors. If you get enough push, but oftentimes a supervisor will come back and say, okay, you don't want him? So who am I supposed to get? Mm-hmm. You want me to go get this guy? No, we don't want him. So it's kind of like pick your poison. At least you know what you're going to get with certain guys compared to that guy's not ready.
And that's why you need more people doing it.
You need more quality.
It's a really hard profession. It just is. It's a hard gig. I get it.
You need more. If they had more of a selection, there would be better officiating. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure it does. Sure.
If you had more. Now, I do compliment the NBA. They will come out with their final 3 minutes of a game, right? That's what it is, the final 3 minutes. where they will say what the missed calls were in the final 3 minutes of this game, trying to take more of the accountability. I mean, did you see the end of the Lakers and the Warriors the other night? Double overtime game? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's hard as heck. That's the NBA.
Yeah.
Anyway. By the way, hearing that the football schedule coming out tomorrow, the Athletic had reported that it was supposed to come out Wednesday, but I'm being told it might surface tomorrow, which would be January 30.
Do you have any inclination as to? I thought it was already released as to what teams you were going to play.
Yeah, but you don't have dates. He's talking full schedule.
Dates, like when do you have to fly? Do you get an off week between this game and that game? All that stuff.
Okay.
When you go through Tokyo to play Arizona, like what day do you have to leave?
You have to have a stopover somewhere.
The women's basketball.
Stop in Chicago.
Gotta get a practice field in Omaha. See if you can get a practice in on your way out.
Women's basketball team is playing at BYU this Saturday. Are they the first Mountaineer team to go that far?
What time's the game?
Well, they left this morning. Is that right?
They left before they play. They left before they play UCF on Tuesday.
Well, half the team did. Players that weren't playing in the third quarter of the Iowa State game, they got on a plane and went. 2 assistants went with them. 4 managers.
By the way, what a stupid soft move by BYU the other day.
Oh, what was that?
BYU students each kid in the front of the first row. Kid had an HORNSDOWN, horns down. Each had a different letter.
Yeah.
They sat there. The school made the kids take the shirts off.
Come on.
I mean,
come on.
What a bunch of soft ass, stupid.
Come on.
We certainly wouldn't want to rival.
Well, the young man, we don't want them to.
We don't want to ruffle any feather. We don't want to ruffle any feathers our first year of participation in the conference.
Well, I mean, I get it. BYU is a lot nicer than a lot schools. I get it. But I mean, come on, Texas. Why is everybody kowtowing to Texas? Why were you doing it before, and why are you doing it now when they're leaving the league? And it's horned. I mean, what are we talking about here? Can't say horns down to them? They get offended by you saying horns down?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Did they really?
Yeah. And then the coach, after the Mark Pope is their coach, post-game press conference, he addressed. He said, I understand that there were some students that were wearing T-shirts, and that was removed before the game, and that's not us. That's not who we are.
I know. Again, they're a very nice fan base.
What are we in
They
church?
were great when they visited here. I just wish they would have. It would have been something. Well, no, not going to. No. Texas complains. No, it's going to stay. It was on a shirt.
Come on. I mean, they're not.
So
they're great. They're great.
I blame
folks.
Texas for that, not BYU.
That's right. Regardless of what happens, we're blaming Texas.
Texas's fault, not BYU.
Yeah, I mean, they were great people. BYU is a great addition to this league, but, don't do that. Don't do that. Anyway.
Well, it's good for Texas. I know that horns down just bothers them to knowing they can't sleep, they can't function. The SEC schools won't do that to them.
No.
Those SEC schools won't bring it up at all.
No.
So they're fine. Up. I mean, they're going in they won't bother them. They won't get that at all.
Anthony from White Post.
LSU, see what happens.
Somebody might put on their helmet.
With the news that Ohio State's football has at least $10 million payroll for 2024.
Rumored.
And Deion Sanders' sons just bought him a house. When the next round of conference alignment takes place, what are your thoughts if 3 conferences were formed based on NIL amount, high dollar, medium dollar, low dollar? Playoff spots allocated as follows. 4 spots for the high, medium dollar, 2 for the low dollar, 2 at large. I believe the medium NIL would outperform the higher dollar schools. People have a lot of ideas that go through their minds. And, nah.
You know, the good schools, the top schools get the top players anyway. Okay? So it's just like, okay, Ohio State's going to get this guy. It's not like West Virginia or Memphis was going to get this guy. It's just that this guy is now making a couple $1 million.
Right.
So I don't know if it changes all that much.
Right. Texter, morning Brad, advanced aged Hoppy, and
Ouch.
Tony. Well, he keeps calling you advanced age. Brad does. Like when you slid down the fire pole, he goes, well, that's something for him to be at that advanced age. I keep asking him, why does he say advanced age? Anyway, this is Fitty.
He's complimenting you. I don't know why I'm the bad guy. Give you a compliment.
Think you're better than me? What are you saying?
No, I don't know that I could do it. That's why I said.
Yeah, sure you could.
At your advanced age, your mobility on that pole was really impressive. Just paying you a compliment.
Fitty from upstate New York. Originally, I'm from Fairmont. Growing up in northern West Virginia, you grew up in the Italian heritage. Whether you were of Italian descent or not, the staples are pasta, salad, common meals. About 20 years ago, my food consumption trajectory changed forever. This will be interesting. One day, my wife mentioned that her friend, Stephanie, invited us over to her parents' home for dinner. I knew very little about her family, but a free dinner, count me in. Dinner date draws near. I find out that her parents were born in Italy, and for dinner, pasta and salad. Okay. Within minutes of being there, Steph's father poured me some homemade wine. As I enjoyed the wine, multiple conversations going on around where sentences would start in English and would be finished in Italian. I know that, man. As we sat down for dinner, the homemade wine was kicking in, and from the downstairs kitchen emerged pasta with bread, no salad. I didn't even remember starting a meal with that. I never remember starting a meal that didn't involve salad. I figured, oh well, and started to look around for the shredded cheese. I noticed what I thought was cheese across the table. Tony asked me if I wanted some and placed 2 heaping spoons on my pasta. After a few bites, I came to find out it wasn't cheese, but instead breadcrumbs. Luckily, my surprise was covered up by the silence that fell across the table. When I looked up, everyone was staring at my wife. She had folded a fork or two of her pasta into some bread and started eating like a sandwich of pasta sandwich. At the end of the dinner, the salad was served. We finished the night with a warmed coffee bean and sambuca. Nowadays, I rarely have pasta without breadcrumbs, and I almost always eat our salad after dinner. So, for the best food podcast in the world, first, have you ever heard of trying breadcrumbs on pasta?
It's a pasta. It's a starch.
Also, your thoughts on salad at the end of dinner and how sacrilegious is it to make a spaghetti sandwich in an Italian home? Well, Fitty, my purview on this one, 2 out of 3, you got a thumbs up. I've seen the breadcrumbs. In fact, my dad would at times ask my mom to make him pasta, and she would start with a skillet and just put breadcrumbs in with just a teeny bit of olive oil. And she would heat those breadcrumbs up and just keep moving around, basically toasting the breadcrumbs. And then she would just get spaghetti and put it in there. And it was like as dry as sand.
Yeah.
And my dad, he'd eat that because he grew up poor. And that to them was like, that's their lobster.
Filling, yeah.
See, now that's interesting. My father-in-law, born in Italy, I've been eating pasta with him for 25 years. I've never seen the breadcrumbs
about that.
come out.
He'll be aware.
I've never seen him do it.
The salad after dinner, yeah, I've seen that. Very, very not uncommon. Not uncommon. But your wife with this spaghetti sandwich thing, never heard of it. It's first to me.
I don't think there is such a thing.
That's a double starcher.
That is. That's a double starch.
I don't know, man. I'm not in on that.
I don't like that.
Brad wants a spaghetti sandwich. Can you put that on bread, please?
I'd do that.
So the next text comes from Hot Rod in Woodbridge, Virginia, and there's too many numbers on it to make sense in oral form. And we didn't have a time yet for our unbelievable elite graphics department to make this into a graph. But you guys help me with this, and we'll see if we can get his point. Hey, 3 guys, if Hoppy's around, I noticed the last 2 Mountaineer games, there have been a disparity in free throws. So I'm wondering, since it appears the officiating has been horrible for the most part in the Big 12, my theory was that the home team gets the benefit from officiating. So I did a little research on the last 2 West Virginia home games, compared them with the last 2 away games. So at home against Texas, West Virginia took 11 more shots. Made 11 more shots and took 20 more free throw attempts. At home against Kansas, they made 7 more free throws and they took 7 more shots. At UCF, though, they took 15 fewer shots, made 15 fewer, and had 15 fewer attempts. Okie State, -12 in makes, -14 in attempts. See where he's getting at there?
Yep.
Home team gets more foul shots. I also took a look at 6 other Big 12 games this past Saturday. And here's what I found for the home team in the made and the attempts. Houston was plus 16, plus 22, but Iowa State was -5, -1. Oklahoma was -1, plus 5. Baylor was plus 10, plus 14. BYU plus 3, -1. Cincinnati plus 10, plus 16. As you can see, overall, it's a washout, as it was even in 3 of them and disparity in 3. Interesting, though, that even Baylor had the advantage in free throws, but they still lost in overtime, and the opposite for Iowa State. So there's a lot there. Excuse me.
Well, I see what...
I was just going to say, this doesn't break down home and away, but I will tell you, in Big 12 play only, conference games only, West Virginia is still sitting with the number 1 free throw rate in the conference.
Wait a second. Say it again.
West Virginia, number 1 in free throw rate in the conference.
That means that West Virginia takes more free throws.
Well, I mean, not in a raw number, but in terms of free throw attempts divided by field goal attempts, they're number 1. So it doesn't mean that they're getting more in just a raw number, but in terms of free throws taken versus the field goal attempts, they are number 1 in the conference.
And with that being said, that would make a lot of people go, are you kidding me? Right? Based on the tenor of the belief of the perception of the officiating.
Yeah, we've done this for years, though. That was really a staple under Bob Huggins. I mean, West Virginia has always been near the top and really one of the nation's leaders in free throw attempt rate. It's been an important part of them scoring over the years, I guess, put it that way.
I see what he's getting at, but I think if you're going to hypothesize that in the Big 12 you get more shots, you get more free throws at home, you really got to look at more games. Got to look at the season,
right,
to determine that.
I'm sure someone will do that for us.
Wow. Okay.
Tony, thank you very much for taking a few minutes before the game to visit my son Shambu and I. It was really kind of you to take time, and we appreciate all you do. The game was sure ended poorly, but it was worth the drive to Stillwater. So Matt, and there's Matt in Tulsa. See? Now there's Matt in Tulsa.
All right.
And that is his son. That is his son, Shambu. Now Shambu, I'm doing this off the top of my head, sophomore, defensive back, strong. Can you tell he's strong?
Oh,
like I shook that young man's hand.
He's a D-back?
D-back.
Did you do a little
Does he have
recruiting
good
there?
size? I know the angle of the picture, but it looks like he's
we talked about recruiting. Probably going to be a Division II recruit.
Okay.
For him.
Doesn't quite have the blazing, that mid-4 speed. More of a 4'8", 4'9" guy. So it was great to meet those guys. And that's Matt in Tulsa. He went to high school with Quincy Wilson. And now lives in Tulsa.
Sure
he did.
And Shambu is one of his adopted kids, and he's adopted a couple of others. And you could tell it's a good story. I asked Matt for some more info. So while I get that picture made there, right?
Yeah.
Then Matt says to me, "Hey Tony, why don't you get your picture made up there with Jason?" You know Jason.
Oh my gosh.
So there's Jason up there, and he does say this: go ahead, disregard the fact that he was drinking a Pistol Pete beer in his hand. So the Oklahoma State mascot has his own beer. It's called Pistol Pete. And if you drink too many of them, you probably
we'll pistol your Pete.
I was thinking it. You said it. So good to see Jason.
Everybody was thinking it. Yeah.
I asked Jason. You remember he had that horrific injury.
Sure.
Golf
injury.
I mean, just a compound fracture, and he has a rod in his leg. I said, "How are you now? You walking all right?" He said, "Yeah." And he said, jumped up and down on it. He said, "Doctor asked me the other time I went, do you want to take the rod? We're going to keep the rod in." He said, "I didn't even know it was an option to take it out, but he's going to keep the rod in."
Okay.
So he's
doing well.
Doing great.
Good.
Yeah.
See the crowd filing in there.
It was early.
Still.
Texter, hello, Gail from Martinsburg, checking in with some more random observations. It's a funny thing how being a regular listener of this podcast permeates so many different aspects of our lives. I now find myself checking out the craft beer section of grocery stores for cleverly named brews that pay homage to the dean. Picture number 1, is a recent find named Hop Tarts. It's a strawberry banana milkshake IPA, in case you were wondering. Well, I tell you what, I'd love to have some of that so I could just throw up immediately.
Ooh, I might take that.
I mean,
That sounds good.
When EMS needs to have someone immediately throw up, they should just carry that in the ambulance. Just
Quick,
here.
give him Hop Tarts. We'll get the poison out of him right away.
Forget about the Ipecac syrup. Give them some of that.
Oh, that sounds pretty good.
What?
I mean, who was
Strawberry
drunk?
banana milkshake?
Who was IPA? I mean, strawberry banana milkshake. Okay, fine. You add on the IPA?
Yeah,
No.
try it.
I'm also attaching not one but of two pictures of manual pencil sharpeners that I found recently. First one's the real deal, wall-mounted and multiple openings, accommodating various sized pencils.
Mm-hmm.
Second one caught my eye because of the color and the suction-style base that engages or releases depending on the position.
Oh, that's a big time.
Yeah, that is
was
a nice one.
That was when they moved to the modern era.
Exactly. Off the wall. Off the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, I would like to suggest a merchandising item for episode 800, adding a T-shirt that reads unconfirmed.
We've discussed that.
Could be the perfect complement to the efforting T-shirt. Thanks for always brightening my day with your humor and your love of all things WVU. You guys are the best.
Thank you, Gail. We've had
Thank
a
you.
discussion. Yeah.
Thanks so much. Appreciate that very much. Professor Vinny, I heard through online rumor, oh, those are always good, through the that the West Virginia home opener against Penn State might be moved to Thursday night prime time. Any truth to this? I don't know. We'll know tomorrow. We'll figure it out tomorrow. If they release the schedule tomorrow, it would be good. Hey, three guys, more schools coming into the Big 12. Everyone going to try to get in the top half of the league. Can we afford hiring a coach with no head coach experience? As you guys have pointed out, a wrong hire can set your team back years. Can Eiler become a good coach one day? Maybe, but right now, can we afford to roll the dice? I know the season has to play out, but even if they win a few more, it doesn't change the fact that there are better coaches with experience we could get. I don't believe it will be easy to climb out of the basement. What do you think about hiring the wrong guy and find ours? What do you think about hiring the wrong guy and find ours get out of the bottom?
Well, Ren Baker, Brad, athletic directors live and die by the hires that they make, right? Mm-hmm. So the Neil Brown thing has been solved, and now he's going to have to make a basketball hire, Josh Eiler or somebody else, and that's his job, man. That's going to be his hire. So,
Yes.
yeah.
The thing that we always said about if you make the wrong hire, it can take years to rebuild your program. That's less applicable than it used to be because of the transfer portal and NIL.
Agreed, especially in basketball.
Yes. Yeah. You can do a really quick. Look at, for example, Grant McCaslin, the coach at Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
He is in first place in the league. Now, he was with Ren at North Texas and took the Texas Tech job after their absolute.
Look at Coach Kellogg
last year, right? But yeah, you can get this thing. You just got to spend it right. I was talking to a coach not at West Virginia last week, and he said in basketball, there's going to be a real new position. It's in its infancy right now, but the real new position is a true director of player personnel. Mm-hmm. That will become your gold standard. That will become your guy or girl that can say, these are the pieces.
You know, because it's not only, guys, about finding the piece, but it's about determining value.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because you're going to have X amount of dollars to get X amount of people, and you have to put a dollar value on that. And you can easily make big mistakes, like we're going to pay this person a bunch of money.
Correct.
But not this person. So value is huge.
Sure. There's software out there already. Let's say Brad. Brad played for me, and he had a great career. I take Brad, and I want Brad. I'd love to have Brad back next year, but Brad's graduated. He's gone. But I take his numbers.
Right. And you plug it
in. And I
and
put them into a computer.
Yes.
And it tells me exactly who's available that fits that category. They might be in the portal. They might be playing at another school, but they give you Brad Howe.
You know what it is? That's Moneyball.
Yeah.
That's Moneyball is that
And it
I
exists.
need to replace 15 points and 9 rebounds.
And
Right.
and I need a guy that offensive rebounds to this, every single spec that you want.
Yeah.
It'll give you a list of players. Then you begin your evaluation, and you say, okay, let's take a look at him. Will he fit? He fits the numbers. What about personality? Will he fit? That's where this thing is going. You just can't put together all-star teams. You have to have, this is how we want to play. Mark Kellogg, for example, he knows how he wants to play, right? So he'll recruit to his system of what he needs based upon his experience. Same thing here. So you can get better really quick if you have the right people involved and get it. West Virginia is going to have enough money. West Virginia is going to have enough money to get what it needs to get to be competitive. It will.
Okay.
It will.
I like this.
That's the
software
first
idea.
part. Yeah. And the guys you pay the most money to have to actually play and play well.
Yeah.
That's part of it moving forward. That's an obvious statement, but that's got to happen. You can't have a lot of misses.
No, you don't have the financial luxury to have big misses.
When you're driving around the state and your fuel light starts to blink at you and says, guess what? Time to refuel. You know where you go, don't you?
Go, Mark.
You go for gold. You go for gold, go for gas, go for Gomart. Did you stop down on your way back up?
I stopped 3 times on the way back, and not once was at Gomart.
Really?
Yeah. Stopped once to eat. Stopped once to take a nap.
Did you? On the way back up, you took a nap.
Yeah.
And did you have to hit the bathroom on the third trip? You have a few too many Pistol Pete's?
I forget. No. I think it was just gas or
How long did you
bathroom or
sleep
something.
for?
Like 20 minutes.
Work, didn't
I'm driving back rather than like driving like this.
No, I'm with you, dude.
Pull off at the rest stop, put the seat back, do 20 minutes hard, go.
And you feel like you just slept 7 hours.
Yes.
Yeah. Brad's a master of the
Brad, is that you?
About 13 minutes for me.
13 minutes?
So this is what he does.
Yeah.
How about this one? He goes 13 minutes, takes his iPhone, puts his alarm on, 13 minutes, lays down, puts the phone on his chest, goes into my couch. I'll be working at my desk. He's sitting over there. He goes down.
When? Like in your office?
Yeah, like 5 o'clock. He'll come in for sports line because I'm going
Oh, you
30.
could go power nap before the show?
Yeah, well, he needs a lot of energy. He needs a lot of energy to do sports line. This is a demanding show. Sports line's very demanding. So he needs to be well rested and bouncy. But he'll go down for 13, alarm rings. He's up. Feel good. Let's go.
Let's go.
Not every night, but it does work.
Yeah, on occasion.
Naps. Yeah.
Turn the alarm way up.
In case
So you jump.
Does he snore?
No, I don't think so. Logan from Greenbrier County, who we met down there in Ronceverte,
Sure.
wrote to tell us that he started a podcast.
Yeah, good for him.
We were inspiration to him. And he said, show that logo. So he's got his own logo.
Oh.
Mountaineer Man Cave. Sure.
Welcome in. We will bury you.
I don't know why you had to attack.
He asks,
I like
are
the
there any
retro-looking football.
Are there any tips or suggestions that you could give on how to have a successful podcast?
God, not us.
I appreciate the work you guys do. Thank you for being my favorite. Yeah, here's my tips or suggestions. All right. And it might be too late for this. Start your podcast. Make sure you have absolutely no plan whatsoever as to what the name of it's going to be, what you're going to talk about, how long it's going to last, how often you're going to do it. If you do those things, you could become 3 guys before the game. You fair? Would you think that's
all
Brad?
Everybody's
That is how this was developed.
Didn't know the name, didn't know what we were going to talk about. This podcast was started as a retaliation podcast because of Alan Taylor. He started a podcast. I got wind of it, and I said, Alan Taylor's doing a podcast? I said, everyone's doing a podcast. Let's go, boys. We're going to do a podcast. That's how it started.
And ensure that all of your hosts are there for every show.
Yeah. And probably the biggest accomplishment of this podcast is we ran Alan Taylor's ass into the ground.
Now, easy on AT, who's now with the Athletic.
He's my guy.
He's a good dude.
He's a great one. Great guy.
And by the way, make sure your podcast is live.
Yeah. Just to have fun, man. I think the biggest thing that wears people out when they start podcasts, and I've talked about this before, is they're hard to do if this isn't what you do. And by that, I mean, like, this is what we do every day. Sports Lines every day. Hoppy does his show, I think, a couple times a week.
2 to 3 times.
And that's what we do. I think it would be hard if you weren't in this world of thinking of your next topic. I think that would be really hard. And if you have to step out of what it is that you do regularly in order to do a podcast, I think that would become like, it would stress me out. Now, what do I do now? What do I do now? That's, I think, there's pod fade is what happens. So people start and they fall off, but this is what we do. So we lucked out because this is what we do.
For example, if you were going to go into a bank and look at their books and do their accounting.
Thank you. Yes, exactly. Like, I would be like so far out of my, I'd be out of my comfort
You'd be going
zone.
17 plus 46.
I was gonna say,
46 and 7.
you guys actually have this much money in this bank? That's really good.
You guys are fine.
I think the audit's good. You say you have this much, and they say you have that much. I don't see any reason for us to be here. Yeah.
What do you want it to add up to?
I don't think that's how it works.
I'm just saying if Tony.
Oh,
Yeah.
No,
What do you
not a real election, but if Tony. were
Now,
doing it.
now, what do you need it to be? Okay. That's fine. Back on Thursday, recapping West Virginia, Cincinnati, previewing West Virginia and BYU. Three Guys brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. Call them, free consultation for your IT or your digital phone system. By Go-Mart, go for good times, go for toasty coffee. Hoppy might be there. Might be asleep in the parking lot, but it'll be Hoppy will be there. That would be the doubleheader, wouldn't it?
Knock on the window.
Sir, your car is still running.
Mr. Kirchhoff?
Three Guys also brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. Take advantage of the Three Guys Tri-Tune Avalon Boat Special at LouWendellMarineSales.com. And Spreads on Stats brought to us by the Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond the numbers.
Hold on, before we go, can I give one last shout out before we're out of here?
Sure.
You can keep the music on. From the women's game.
Yeah.
Women's game. Had some folks come up. Very nice.
sure
Lisa
they will.
Lloyd.
Lisa.
And then Ronnie and Matt Helmendaler from Grafton. James was not there, but James is the one that gave us those key rings. You know those Three Guys key rings?
Absolutely.
That was that whole crew.
Who let you in traffic? Somebody, Three Guys personally.
I know, I
knew
didn't
me.
get a name. No, I let them in traffic.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get a name.
Somebody flagged Brad in the parking lot.
Trying to be neighborly.
Yeah.
Come on in.
Oh, good for you. Let somebody in.
Yeah.
All
You know
got to
what
get along.
You know what else we'll do Thursday is we will recap the football schedule as far as what we think are the tough spots.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to miss that.
Yeah, well, you can come back. I'd love to have you.
Well, you got to wait till 4.
Nope. Love to have you. Nope.
Can't do it.
Sorry. All right, we're out. Special thank you to our producer, Austin Wright. Three Guys Before the Game episode, I think it's about 525. Something like that. See ya.